This is a brief bit of information. Um, it slipped my mind that I had an interview with a teacher, administrator, counselor, other expert in diversity and multicultural issues in a P-12 school. This is due on October 22nd. I'm going to change that to the 29th, give you an extra week. A couple of you have sent me questions. It says in here, please send me questions. I will just briefly look at those. I kind of put things down here to tell you what the questions could be about, but obviously sensible questions dealing with issues of diversity or specific areas of interest to you. This may be an administrator, teacher, or counselor. It could be a ESL teacher, obviously, would be a good one, but it could be a vice principal or something. So I would like to see your questions before you use them, but just try to keep it to 10. If you ask some others, that's fine. Questions should be centered on their experience with diversity. I'm assuming you're getting somebody who has some experience with diversity. You know, if you ask somebody that's never really had students from another place or anything or another language, it'd be kind of pointless. So it could be a little bit about what the background is, the travel, languages spoken, also their background with diversity, as well as their school and their school experience with diversity in students. Teaching methods they've used with ESL or just teaching about diversity. One or two major experiences they might have had. Might have been a trip, it might have been family, it might have been, might have been in the school. I do mention conflicts in the community, but you want to be careful not to, we're not going to have these on video, and you're going to summarize these in a paper. I don't want you to write down their responses word by word, but just your impression and maybe a couple of quotes from what they said. Okay, so we're not going to turn this into some kind of a breaking news deal where you uncover some kind of a dirty little secret, but instead we're going to kind of focus on a positive experience of this interview and what you can learn from it. Maybe I mentioned in here three issues dealing with diversity in the school. Advice they would give to new teachers or administrators working with families coming in from either immigrant families or even foreign exchange students. That could also play to it. And I just want to round this out by also talking about how they reflect the diversity of the community in maybe their sports teams, adjustments they've made. Like Lexington has a soccer team. Took a few years, but they have one. And how positive things they've dealt with. The idea here is not to dwell or focus on negative incidents. Most people don't want to talk about those. It's not how they want to present themselves. So that shouldn't really be an issue. And I put down here, summarize it by incorporating the questions into your paper. In other words, for example, Mr. Smith spoke of a sudden influx of students from the Philippines that entered into the school system back in 2010, and talks about some of the adjustments the teachers had to make and the administration had to make, so forth, and how the kids did and stuff. So be sure and have a little introduction to who the person being interviewed is, unless it's needed. I mean, you can make it anonymous if there's anything negative in the paper that comes out, but so don't say the name of the paper or anything. I mean, say the name of the school or the person if there's anything that would be difficult in there. My interest is that you just talk to somebody about some of these issues and try to come up with 3 or 4 things And I have down here 4 to 5 pages. I'm sure if you write 3.5, 4 pages, it'll be fine. I mainly want you to just have the exercise of talking with someone outside of myself or someone in our class. So I hope that's clear enough. Um, I think I put the information down here. You know, what is their family background? What experiences have they had? So if you come up with any questions you have doubts about, that's the one I want to see. You know, it's a little controversial. Okay. So if you send those, and I'll just take a quick look, I won't write a big comment. I'm almost finished with your papers from a couple weeks ago. They're very good. Love reading them. Just trying to keep up with everything, get those back. So far, all the grades are excellent. I haven't entered them in. So I will try to do that this weekend. We have a little fall break, Monday and Tuesday. But it's really not a fall break because I have to do other things. So I will have a nice weekend, and I'll have a little lesson for you on Sunday. I'm going to be a little light this little couple of weeks right here since you are doing another paper with the interview.